afternoon folks, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot, and we're back here with another video review of a nice, well actually a really nice scenery, I have to say. We're in Europe again. We're in Switzerland, and this is Geneva Contrin International Airport in Switzerland, Lima Sierra Golf Golf. This is a payware scenery from Redwing, and you're looking at version 0.2.2 for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. So obviously they've made a couple of little updates. The download is 1.43 gig and installs at 2.86 gig. It's currently available for you from Sim Market, and it's priced at €22.80, which equates to roughly $24.75 US, or £19.52 UK. Those prices are estimates taken from the euro, and they include tax or VAT, which of course may vary depending on the country you're in when you make your purchase. So let's look at some features. So the features list. The airport is modelled with PBR textures, both 2K and 4K materials. The main aprons, cargo and maintenance area all done. Hand-placed vegetation and 3D lighting. High-resolution aerial scenery with custom mesh, dynamic lighting, customized animated glass jetways, static aircraft from EasyJet and Swissair, British Airways and Lufthansa on the apron, 25 buildings and hotels in the vicinity, 40 detailed buildings on the airport, 3D animated characters, customized ground services, special details and vehicles during the snow periods, and Geneva Waterjet is also modelled, and complete historical and technical documents somewhere in the scenery, which I will need to find. I haven't seen it. So there you are. There's an extensive list of features in this scenery, some of which I will try to find for you. In the meantime, let's look at some history. So, history. Geneva Contrin Airport, Lima Sierra Golf Golf, formerly and still unofficially known as Contrin Airport, is a public-use international airport owned by Canton of Geneva and operated by the Geneva Airport Company. Geneva is the second most populous city in Switzerland, and the airport is located 2.5 miles, or 4 kilometers, northwest of the city centre. It has surpassed the 15 million passenger a year mark for the first time in December 2014. The airport serves as a hub for Swiss International Airlines and EasyJet Switzerland. It features a route network of flights mainly to European metropolitan and leisure destinations, as well as some long-haul routes to North America, China, Africa and the Middle East. Amongst them, Swiss International Airlines' only long-haul service outside of Europe, of Zurich, which goes to New York JFK. In October 1919, the Grand Council of Geneva approved the establishment of an airfield at Meyrin. A simple airfield was established in Contrin near the city of Geneva, covering an area of 130 acres or 54 hectares. From 1926 to 1931, the airfield's wooden sheds were replaced by 3 concrete hangars. At the time, there was a small amount of air traffic, with Lufthansa flying from Berlin to Barcelona via Halle, Leipzig, Geneva and Marseille. Swissair also flew Geneva-Lyon-Paris route, though through a code-sharing agreement with Air Union. By 1930, there were 6 airlines that flew to Geneva Airport on 7 different routes. 1937 saw construction of the first concrete runway. In 1938, 8 airlines were flying to Geneva: Swissair, KLM, Lufthansa, Air France, Malayet from Hungary, AB Aero Transport from Sweden, Alpar, another Swiss airline, and Imperial Airways from the UK. To provide for jet traffic in 1960, the runway was extended to 12,795 feet, or 3,900 metres. This is unusually long for an airport of this size, and could only be built after some territory was exchanged between France and Switzerland. The runway extension needed to use land that was then French, and an international agreement was needed whereby the necessary land was transferred from France to Switzerland, and the territory of identical size, also adjacent to Ferney-Volatier, transferred in the opposite direction. In this way, Switzerland remained exactly the same size and its neutrality remained untarnished. The extension also resulted in construction of the current tunnel leading to Fresnay-Voltaire and of the joint border post on its northern side, which again is unusual for Switzerland in that it is entirely on French territory. In the process, the old hamlet of La Limitière disappeared, although as of April 2013 a building from that era still stands, isolated within a motorway junction on the southern side of the runway. On the 7th of May 1968, Geneva Main Terminal was inaugurated, which was planned to accommodate 7 million passengers a year, this figure actually being reached in 1985. In 1987, Geneva Airport was linked to the Swiss rail system with a new station built close to the main terminal. Geneva Airport has two passenger terminals. The newer, larger one, Terminal 1, also known as Main Terminal M, is divided into 5 piers A, B, C, D and F. Terminal 1 features the majority of flights, and the smaller and only seasonally used Terminal 2, which was the original terminal, used only in the winter charter season. The airport also has a business aviation terminal, also known as Terminal 3. Currently, some 52 airlines operate into and out of GENEVA CONTRIN International Airport. So there's some history for you. This place also has been around for a while and gone through various sort of changes and additions, again, it actually has the longest runway in Switzerland. So let's look at runways now. Okay, so runways. Geneva Airport operates a single runway 2204, measuring 12,799 feet or 3,900 meters, and it's constructed from concrete. The airport lies at an elevation of 1,411 feet or 430 meters and sits within the GMT UTC plus 1 hour time zone. Now, Switzerland, like most European countries, does indeed observe daylight saving time, or DST, which is not in operation yet, and so the airport remains 1 hour ahead of the UK. So before we just go on, obviously at the moment we're looking down the throat of that main runway. This airport used to have a grass runway, but is no longer there, and if it was, it's now totally decommissioned. I can't find much evidence about it except the fact that it did exist. Anyway, back to this runway proper. So we're looking down the throat of runway 22 at the moment, which features high intensity runway lighting, high intensity airfield lighting system version 2, touchdown zone lighting, runway end identifier lighting system, centerline lighting and precision approach path indicators on the left side. And if you look here, we've literally got everything. We've got the PAPIs, high intensity runway lighting, there's the touchdown zone lighting and the centerline lighting, and here we've got the full approach lighting system and the runway end identifier lighting system there. Also got the VOR station, which is located literally right in front of the runway here. Approach options for this runway, well, you have an instrument landing system which is actually certified to both Category 2 and Category 3 low visibility operations. So when the weather's really bad, this is the one you use. You also have an RMP approach option and also a surveillance radar approach, or SRA approach option 2. So let's go look at the other end, runway 04. So here we are at the other end, runway 04, and there you can see a beautiful view as the sun rises over the mountains on the right there, and you've got the Lake Geneva in front of us. So runway 04 features high intensity runway lighting, high intensity airfield lighting system, the standard version, the centerline lighting of course, and again precision approach path indicators on the left side. You also have a displaced threshold here, and we've got the full approach lighting system, which again is on the charts. Landing options or approach options for this end of the runway, you have a standard instrument landing system, and again you have an RNP approach option and a surveillance radar approach or SRA option as well. Note that the runway is fully grooved. You should also note from the charts, if you look at them, older Chapter 2 aircraft are no longer permitted at Swiss airports. So any of the older ETS, turboprops and the older jet engine type aircraft really are not permitted here. It's got to be Category 3 and above. Also, a night ban is in operation from midnight until 05:59 local time. Landings and takeoffs are banned during this time except in special circumstances and prior permissions required from the airport operator. Again, see the charts. So that was runways. Now let's have a look at jetways. Okay, so jetways. So here we are on stand 32. I've spawned straight from the menu. To be honest, I can't see how this jetway is going to connect, but who knows, I might be surprised. Let's give it a try. Well, it's going in the right direction. This is a surprise. The stairway looks like it might sort of break into something there, but let's see. To be honest, I didn't expect this to connect, but it looks like it might. It's angling round. So so it's gone through the skin, but actually in a situation where, to be honest, I really didn't expect it to connect at all, it actually has. Let's get a close-up look at it. So there you can see it's connected. Okay, this isn't the greatest jetway in the world. It's gone right through the skin here. The wheels have buried themselves into the concrete. And to be honest, I thought this stairway was going to hit objects here, but it hasn't. So, but on the plus side, the jetway looks nice. It's weathered. It looks really good. Let's check from the other side. So there you can see the stairwell's gone into the ground, like most jetways do, and actually the wheels look a little bit better from this side. It may just be an optical illusion. So let's go inside the jetway. So here we are inside the jetway door. As you can see, the sides on both sides have gone through the skin, and this is as far back as I can go without sort of hitting the door behind me. But yeah, it's okay. Bit of a gap at the bottom, but the top's pretty well covered. So let's open the jetway door and see how that works. Well, that's not bad. I don't think the door has infringed the jetway at all, really. There you can see it's clear at the bottom and it's clear at the top. There's the view from inside the jetway, and you can see there's the jetway doors that are currently closed. Okay, let's disconnect the jetway. I mean, to be honest, it's quite a nice motion, and it looks like it's going to go back to its original position, which is a good thing. It's just a real pity the wheels are burying themselves in the concrete, and the motion isn't that great. But there you go. I mean, the jetway works. Default jetways in the simulation here work fine. And there you go, the jetway returns to its original position. Even the concertina bit here rotates to the original position. So there you go, that was the jetways for you. Now let's get down to the airport proper and have a good look round the scenery and see how good it is. Okay, so here we are back in the daytime, just after midday. It's around about 12:15, something like that, local time. And we start the main tour. Before we start, let me just say a couple of things about this scenery, having spent a good hour going over it. I can find all of the airplanes except the Lufthansa one, can't see that anywhere. The detail is really quite good. This thing is, it's not high res and it's not low, it's somewhere in between. And that somewhere in between generally tends to fit in quite well with the rest of the terrain around the airport, so it doesn't look too bad at all, and it just looks better the sort of higher away you are from it. There are things that you'll see that aren't quite there, or aren't quite up to speed, as it were. And the other thing to say, perhaps, this scenery is good, but it's not up to the standards that we kind of expect today. I mean, I just checked and it's been available since April 2021, so the scenery itself is a good 2.5, 3 years old, nearly. So to some extent I have to temper my criticism, if any, with the view to the fact that this is about 3 years old, but I like it. I wanted a good Geneva scenery myself, so I bought this, and I thought we'd kind of review it in detail, so we can see areas perhaps where this company or another might take on this project and may bring it up to sort of today's standards. So let's start here. We're at this end of the threshold of runway 22, and here you can see little details that they've added around the airport that you know, that make it fit in. So let's start the tour, and we'll head southwest going across the airport. There you can see the runway 22 threshold. The taxiway is beautifully weathered, but then looking to the left here you can see where the changes in the resolution of the scenery, they fit in well with what's going on around, but they're not that high res that we kind of expect today. So here we've got EasyJet, British Airways and Swissair, but I can't see the Lufthansa. And here you can see, as we get down a bit lower, you can see the photo scenery, which is at a lower resolution, which isn't great, but at least it's there. Here's a road tunnel that actually goes under the runway and comes out the other end, and you can see the tunnel actually hasn't been modelled at all. On the other side it's there, but it's blocked, so that hasn't been done. There you can see a BA plane, and this part of the car park here you can see the cars have just kind of been dropped there because they're actually facing the wrong way. You can see the car park lanes here, but they're all facing the wrong way, which is a pity. So as we go over the building structures itself, I mean, there's a lot to see here. It's been quite nicely done. I mean, airside got no real complaints. The cars are a bit better there. Here's the fire training aircraft. And when you pull up to the terminal you can see activity inside, but you actually can't go into the terminal, you get bounced up to the roof. So there's partial internal development which you can't actually go in and see. But as you can see here, airside, the aircraft stands, the terminals, and everything is just what you need. It's all nicely done, it really is nicely done. There's my aircraft sitting on stand 32. Don't really know what China Airlines is doing there. It's probably FSLTL messing about. Down there you've got a little bus station there, look. And the quality airside is pretty good. I mean, it's okay. It's you know, it's just what you need. They've also included some off-airport important buildings as well. And you can see it's great, and it fits in well as we get off the airport here to the default scenery. It's all a bit photo here. Here we come towards the threshold of 04. And you've got works going on here right outside at the end. You've got these jagged lines, unfortunately, as well. But as you can see, the airport itself, certainly airside, has got everything you need, and it all looks pretty good. So let's jump to landside. And as you can see here, some of the buildings have been enhanced, as the roads as well. Traffic lights have been added. Hotels. I mean, this looks pretty good. There's a big car park down there. So being higher up, it looks pretty impressive. It looks a lot better. Not much in the way of stutters, one or two, and I haven't defragged my drive this morning. And here you can see the upper levels. Again, you've got this sort of photo scenery, which isn't low resolution, it's not a high resolution either. You've got various bits and pieces that disappear from the scenery and then come back again. But this is nice, it's nicely modelled. Now here you've got the tunnels here that are that again are not modelled. See, they're blocked up there. The building looks pretty good. There's the other side of the building, and there you can see the tunnel is blocked down there as well. So here's a close-up look at the stand, the satellite here, stand 32 where my aircraft is. As you can see, we've got a couple of sort of animated and static people in there. Let's see if we can get inside this. No, once again we're bumped out, and this unfortunately happens with the main terminal across the way as well. But you can see you've got kind of a parallaxing in there. This probably will look better in the darkness. But you've got a very nice animated lady and her son there. Here's another view looking on from stand 34. Again, the ramp markings are great. You've got the appropriate clutter, which all looks pretty good, and you can see inside these little buildings. It's going to look really good, I think, in the darkness hours. So again, here's a close-up look at the main terminal, and you can see internal development or of sorts here inside the building. And again, as you get closer, you can see a little bit of what's going on inside. But if we try to go inside, that happens. So that was a quick tour daytime. There's quite a lot to see here, some of which I'm going to leave you to see. Let's drop the light down to dusk. So here we are at dusk. It's 6:30. The lights actually came on about 6 minutes ago, and this looks quite nice. From this level, looks pretty impressive. There's the view in the other direction. As you can see, lots of good lighting, some of it very subtle and all coming from the right sources. Here we can see blue airfield edge lights as well, and we've got ground signage as well of a decent quality. And the light here is pretty impressive. We've also got green centerline lights that take us along too. So let's just do a little tour. Down there you can see the fire station. There's the fire training aircraft. And you can see the buildings tend to come to life now, whereas they were pretty dark during the daytime. Once again, good light sources. It all looks pretty impressive. Okay, now we get some Osobo globes there lighting up that car park. But again, I'm trying to make sure I remember this scenery is nearly 3 years old. But it's alright, it's good. Here's the lit area of the other stands. As I said, I can't find the Lufthansa aircraft. As we approach the threshold of runway 22 here, you can see the green centerline lights. And here we've got the entry signs as well. So a little bit of a closer look at the ramp here. So let's pop over to the other side. And you've got this subtle kind of lighting that I think quite works pretty well. There's the building with the tunnel and some nice signage on the other building to the right there. We'll take a little slow tour on the other side of these buildings. Yeah, we've got Osobo globes floating around all over the place. But you know, generally the effect is pretty nice. And actually the photoground looks a bit better in this kind of light. So now we get up close to the terminal, and there you can see it looks a little bit better inside. And you get a better view of what's inside the terminal by looking through. It's actually quite a nice effect, considering, as I said, this is 3 years old. But the AIRSIDE's been done really nice. And here's the control tower. As you can see, the buildings themselves all come to life a lot more. And we've got a chap there taking a photo. There is development inside the tower. Let's see if we can get inside. Yes, we can. And there you can see they've got the lone controller plus all the bits and pieces that you need. And here we are landside of the ramp. You can see the various cars and signs and some nice lighting on the buildings. And there you've got the various hotels, casinos and bits and pieces landside. I mean, it looks okay. For a 3-year-old scenery, this looks quite nice. And if you need Geneva, I mean, this is probably, at the moment, this is the best. And to be honest, it's ripe for redevelopment. Love to see this brought up to date. There you've got the hangar and the blast hangar there on the right side, and some nice drop lighting on that building. I mean, it's great. It looks nice, doesn't it? No real complaints. For a 3-year-old scenery, it still looks pretty good, and it looks quite a lot better during the night time, or the darkness hours I should say. So there's the threshold of 04, and there you get a better view of the ramp, of this end of the ramp anyway. You still have plenty of light. And yeah, it looks great. And still some fine details. I mean, that looks quite nice, for example. I quite like that. So here's stand 32. There's our young lady and her son that we saw before. And as we suspected, this looks a lot better during the dusk hours, night time. You can see inside even though we can't go in. There's my aircraft on the stand itself. There's plenty of clutter. All perfectly acceptable. The ground markings are really good too, I think. And there we are looking towards the south. And you can see the lighting on the buildings really makes it look nice. It really does stand out pretty well. Here you've got the coaches that take people out to the aircraft from the main terminal. And there's a view across the main ramp. There's a view, so again, close up of some of the buildings, and the signage looks pretty good there. And here's a close up of the main terminal from airside, and you can see inside there the development that's been done, and at a lower resolution than normal. And you can't go inside the building, unfortunately, but I think the effect is pretty good. Here's a nice view of this building, nicely lit. I'm not sure if that sign is supposed to be like that. Perhaps somebody who knows this airport can tell me if that sign is meant to be that way or whether it's an anomaly in the scenery. And again, that's just a nice view generally of the road system and the buildings. As you can see, this hasn't been properly done, but then this is a 3-year-old scenery that came out not long after, well, about a year after Flight Sim 2020 came out, so not really that bad. IATA building there. These signs do occasionally disappear as you get close. And there's a look at some of the road signs. You've got a couple of road signs on this road. They're all nicely done, which is good. And just a close-up here of this building, and you've got the Ibis Hotel on the right-hand side. Well, it's Ibis Styles and Budget. Yeah, it's Ibis Hotel on the right there. So you've got the GA hangars on the other side here, on the western side of the airport, and some construction going on up here too. So that was dusk. Let's lower the night time now and have a look and see how much, if any, the lighting comes up. Okay, 10 PM local time, and you can see the lighting has indeed come up a little bit better. And looking towards the runway 22 threshold out here, it's come up quite a lot here, so it's pretty impressive. Let's have a look at the ramp. So here's my aircraft parked on stand 22, and as you can see, the lighting here has come up really well. You're not going to have any problems taxiing around. There's plenty of light, and you've got green lights coming off the runway to let you know how to get to this point, which is perfectly acceptable. And once again, there's a view inside this satellite there, and the light has come up quite a bit more actually. There's a view from the other side, same building, and you've got the road itself nicely lit, and you've got the I'm not sure if this works, you've got the VGGS system here, Visual Docking Guidance System, and the signs are lit as well, which is quite good. There's the airport sign, and that building nicely lit, and a little bit of parallaxing, if you could call it that really. And here you can see inside the terminal a lot more now that it's darkness. It's a pity you can't go inside, but there you go. So that's about as close as I can get without being bumped up to the roof. It's quite nice. So there's a view across the top of the terminal, and you can see both airside and landside. I mean, it looks fine. It's more than acceptable, even now, 3 years on. Okay, during the day you can see some of the anomalies, but at night it's fine. You know, this is a really good model. It's really, really nice. And there's a high-level view showing you the satellites and the ramp generally. I mean, it's great. It's really no complaints at all. So let's bring the dawn up, and if I position this right, we should be able to get the sun slightly behind me. Okay, 7:25 in the morning. It's early March 2024, and there you can see the sun's coming up behind us, and you get this glow on the buildings, which looks really nice, to be honest. And there's the view in the other direction. And there's a view looking at the sunrise coming up over the airport. Okay, 10:20 in the morning, and time to give you my thoughts. Okay, we've had a brief look at this airport. I've tried not to go too long. This is because this is an old scenery, and to be honest, I hadn't suspected it was that old. But it's getting on for sort of 3 years old. But I decided I wanted to review it because I haven't been into Switzerland much, and I do like this airport, and the location's really good. And I think this is probably the first Redwing scenery I've had a look at. It's nice. There's a lot to like about it. There's a lot to you have to remember this is 3 years old, and they don't have the standards and the technical ability to bring the scenery up to the way many of the sceneries are now. I mean, it's ripe for development. Certainly they could release a version 2 that's up to date in terms of what can be done. I mean, things like the ground, the photo ground could be a better resolution. The tunnels could be developed. You've got a road tunnel that goes under the runway here, which could be developed. Here with this building, you've got the road tunnels either side, which could be done. Nice to see the tower done, although to be honest, from the outside you can't see much during the darkness hours. It only really lights up when you go inside it. So there's quite a lot, and it's as I say, you've got the tunnel, the terminals, satellites, and the main terminal. You've got sort of partial internal development, but you can't go in and see anything. So this is, to some extent, you've got the limits placed on the abilities and the SDK of 3 years ago, which produced the scenery that you've got. And then you look at the price. You're looking at €23 or nearly $25, nearly 20 quid UK. And that's pretty expensive, but then 3 years ago probably that wasn't so much. Buying it now, and just while I'm here, I did actually buy this scenery. I wasn't given it or sent it, so arguably now it's on the expensive side. But then if you want the best Geneva scenery, at the moment this is currently it. We wait to see whether it's updated or whether another developer takes it on and brings it up to the sort of quality that we expect of today's versions of products in the simulator. So the price is fairly high compared to what's available today. But as I said, if you want Geneva, this is currently the best, and that's the price you'd have to pay. Who knows, it may come up on Sim Market at a discounted price in the sales, which would be really good. But who knows, maybe they'll take this on and update it and sort it out. I mean, you've got the cars facing the wrong way, the road tunnel's unfinished, and you've got the runway tunnel here that really basically hasn't been done at all. But there's quite a lot to like about it. Lots of detail, lots of intricate little bits and pieces, again, that look a lot better during the darkness hours. And I will certainly use this airport. So there you go, folks. Geneva Contrin International Airport in Switzerland, Lima Sierra Golf Golf. This is a payware scenery from Redwing, and as I said, be aware that the scenery is nearly, well, it's over 3 years old now. And it's version 0.2.2 for the PC version of Flight Simulator 2020. Download is 1.43 gig and it installs at 2.86 gig. It's currently available from Sim Market, and you can get it for €22.80, which equates to roughly $24.75 US, or £19.52 UK. Those prices are estimates from the euro, and they do include tax or VAT, which may be slightly different depending on which country you're in when you make your purchase. A nice scenery that's potentially well outdated now. It's 3 years old, and therefore the price makes it expensive. So there you go, folks, that was the review for today. Geneva in Switzerland, a lovely airport. Yeah, thanks for joining me, thank you for watching. Stick around this week, we've got another review coming this week. I'm doing 2 this week. We're going to be looking at Manchester, the new version by TAI Models, and to see just how good that is. Bear in mind the last time we had Manchester brought out by MacOSim, which is a really good scenery. Be interesting to see whether TAI Models have done something as good or if not better. So thank you for joining me, guys. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot, wrapping up this review. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I'll see you later in the week with the next review. Take care. Bye bye for now.